The history of the United States Army has shown a force continually driven by change. In the 21st century, our Army continues this change by creating new capabilities, organizations, and approaches to deter conflict. When required, we strive to transition rapidly to conflict and prevail on an increasingly complex, lethal, hyperactive, and urbanized battlefield. Leading this change, the Army has developed a new concept: the U.S. Army in Multi-Domain Operations 2028. This concept describes how Army forces, as part of a joint interagency and coalition team, address the implications of large-scale ground combat operations and the problem of increasingly capable anti-access and area denial, or A2AD systems, employed by our adversaries to generate effective standoff. Army forces conduct multi-domain operations to defeat this standoff. They operate across all domains and within contested spaces to overcome an enemy's strengths by creating multiple simultaneous operational or tactical dilemmas. This is accomplished through the application of calibrated force posture, multi-domain formations, and convergence of capabilities across all domains. Applied together and over time and spaces, they enable the Army and joint force to defeat an adversary's A2AD systems. Multi-domain operations addresses standoff in both competition and conflict. Over the last 2 decades, Army forces oriented on counterinsurgency operations, placing little emphasis on large-scale combat. At the same time, China and Russia fielded robust A2AD systems that create political, physical, and functional standoff. In competition and conflict, their increased capabilities in both the cyberspace and space domains, combined with weaponization of the information environment, extends standoff, reducing friendly forces' speed of recognition, decision, and reaction. This contributes to increased risk of unacceptable losses to U.S. and partner forces. Our adversaries use standoff to separate the elements of the joint force in time, space, and function. The previous deep, close, rear battlefield architecture is too limited in scope to effectively describe the multi-domain operational environment. It fails to adequately describe the increasingly contested character of the operational environment across the depth of tactical, operational, and strategic areas. These shortfalls drive the requirement for a new framework, one that accounts for operations in all time periods, in all areas, and across all domains. Importantly, it places just as much emphasis on competition as it does on conflict. Army forces conduct multi-domain operations to defeat the adversary's standoff by competing short of armed conflict. When necessary, Army forces rapidly transition to conflict and penetrate and disintegrate enemy A2AD systems. They subsequently exploit opportunities to achieve strategic objectives and force a return to competition on favorable terms. In short, the answer to the problem of an enemy's layered standoff is to compete, penetrate, disintegrate, exploit, and recompete. Army forces compete below the threshold of armed conflict. Together with joint forces and interagency partners, they expand the space in all domains by enabling the defeat of information in unconventional warfare, conducting intelligence preparation of the threat's long-range systems, and countering its reconnaissance, and by demonstrating a credible deterrent. In competition, Army forces leverage calibrated force posture to deny the adversary's establishment of A2AD standoff, deter fait accompli campaigns, and set conditions for friendly formations to rapidly seize the initiative if conflict occurs. In conflict, Army forces penetrate and disintegrate the enemy's anti-access and area denial systems. Despite limited warning, Army and joint forces rapidly transition to conflict and converge capabilities to penetrate and begin the disintegration of enemy long-range systems from both within and outside of established standoff. Multi-domain formations at echelon, including brigade combat teams, divisions, and corps, expand these penetrations and place enemy formations in positions of relative disadvantage. By disintegrating the enemy standoff, friendly forces collapse both the enemy's capability and will to fight, enabling exploitation. Army forces exploit opportunities to defeat the enemy and achieve their objectives, setting the conditions for a return to competition on favorable terms. In multi-domain operations, convergence is the arrangement of capabilities across all domains, environments, and functions of time and physical spaces to gain overmatch. This enables Army forces to exploit the disintegration of the enemy systems and gain freedom of action, dictating the pace and tempo of operations. Future formations achieve convergence by increasing the pace and agility of operations and accessing joint, inter-organizational, and multinational capabilities at lower echelons in new ways. Emerging technologies and processes enable friendly forces to evolve from episodically synchronizing multi-domain effects today to leveraging continuous integration tomorrow. The U.S. Army in Multi-Domain Operations 2028 concept describes the fundamental changes needed to address the emerging challenges of the 21st century. Leveraging capabilities across multiple echelons and domains, this concept drives Army modernization through 2028 and into the future.